That song that you just heard was A Million Dreams from The Greatest Showman. And this song is really, really important because the message of this song says, you can create the world that you want. You can dream up the world that you desire. You have the freedom to dream up whatever world you want to live in. You can make your world, our world, the place that you want it to be. And this theme of dreaming up a better, more loving world where we are all allowed to be ourselves, is exactly what I'm going to be talking about in this episode of the Cosmic Sky Podcast, which is Neptune sextile Pluto. This episode where I'm going to be breaking down the very first aspect in Star David configuration, happening in the middle of July from the 15th to the 25th of the month. Those 10 days mark the span of time when this Star of David configuration is exact. This is one of the aspects going on at the 25th of July. This is when it's exact. This aspect will be continuing to be from this year, 2026, through 2032. Okay. So this is sort of the range of time, the span of time with this aspect going on. So this aspect between Neptune and Pluto happens at 4 degrees. Neptune is at 4 degrees of Aries, Pluto is at 4 degrees of Aquarius, and they're meeting up in a harmonious sextile. Now, Neptune is the planet of dreams, illusions, fantasies, but also spirituality, greater collective vision, greater spiritual imagination. All of that kind of thing going on right there. It's very, very significant for Neptune. And then Pluto is powerful transformation. It is regeneration. It's looking at the shadows of everything. Seeing the undercurrent of these kind of things like that. Seeing where you need to really, really look at what needs to die, what needs to be reborn, what needs to evolve and change and grow. Sextiles are aspects when the two planets are in signs too apart from each other. So Aries and Aquarius are two signs apart from each other. And sextiles, it's kind of like an astrologer that I was watching had a metaphor for sextiles. It's like you're in a house and you have a beautiful cherry tree outside your window. And this is the astrologer Maria de Simone, who teaches sextiles in her school, or astrology school, in her classes. And the tree is out there. You can easily get to the cherry tree, but then there's a window in the way. All you have to do to get to the cherries is to open the window, grab the cherry, and enjoy it. The sextiles are not lazy aspects. They require us to take action, to really, really take advantage of the opportunity. So there's a window of opportunity here. Hence the metaphor that I just gave, window of opportunity that you take advantage of. So can you go towards this opportunity? Can you act on this opportunity? Really, really making the most of it in your life. That's how you can really, really thrive during this transit, is to really, really make the most of the opportunity that is being presented to you now, right here and now. So, this transit between Neptune and Pluto, Neptune is in Aries, which is more spiritual ideals, being an individual. Neptune in Aries is really, really individualistic, authentic, personal. And then, Neptune in Aries wants to fight for things. It's like stand up. I feel so strongly about the spiritual principle that I am not willing to sit on the sidelines and let others take over it. That I'm willing to act on it and make it happen in my life. That I'm willing to make it a reality. That's Neptune in Aries. Now Pluto in Aquarius is power to the people. It is dismantling the power structures that are top down. And you're going to be hearing me use the word dismantling quite a few times in this video. Pluto in Aquarius is taking down all that Pluto in Capricornian top-down authoritarian structures. Think about community or social structures, technology. AI is a real big issue with Pluto in Aquarius. And how the technology is really serving our growth, or is the technology have more power to us, that we are using technology negatively. And as soon as Pluto into Aquarius, the AI, we became very, very aware of AI. And so there may be some transformations in AI and certain other types of technologies when we get through the portal month, which is the month of July, with all these aspects going on, forming the grand sextile, the grand trine, the triangles forming the opposition from Jupiter and Pluto, Jupiter and Leo, and Pluto and Aquarius. So funny. But anyway, we have that going on. But this transit is more generational. It impacts people on a more generational level. It impacts generations. It impacts larger groups of people, larger spans of what's going on. That's kind of the impact that it has on the collective. And so the last time that this transit happened was in the 1870s and the 1880s. This was the birth of modern psychology, where we became aware of the psychological undercurrents of what's going on. We became aware of things like the telephone, all these kind of things that happened around this time when new inventions got born into the world. We became aware of all these kind of things. So at this time, with this sextile, this is about being unafraid. With Neptune and Pluto sextile each other, unafraid to challenge things, to challenge the structures that you've been indoctrinated with, and saying, are they really true for me? Are they really freeing me, allowing me to be my authentic, unique self? Or are they holding me back from that? Or are they keeping me from my true authenticity, from my true note, from my true voice? Where you're not afraid to challenge, you're not afraid to do the unacceptable. Challenge what is acceptable. Maybe what is acceptable should be acceptable. Maybe what is unacceptable is what you actually accept, and you want that unacceptable quality, that way of thinking, that way of going about the world, to be acceptable, to be mainstream. So that's really, really one of the ways that we can think about this transit is mainstream. What are we making mainstream? Now, whenever I associate Neptune and Pluto, we are connecting soul to soul. We are deepening our spiritual connection to each other. We are deepening our soul-centered connection to one another. We are connecting on a more soul-based level with others. We are connecting more spiritually with others. Think of a dog. How when you look at the eyes of a dog, it just wants your love and attention. It doesn't use words, doesn't have the egoic chit-chat. It just wants to connect in a soul-centered way. So you'll hear me talk about that on the short coming up very, very soon on my YouTube channel, the daily short for Neptune sextile Pluto coming to your neighborhood. So tune in for that short video coming up on my YouTube channel. But anyway, you're connecting more deeply in this kind of way. We have a deeper sense of spirituality with this transit. Deeper sense of being tied to a spiritual center. It's a deeper sense of being spiritual. What does it really mean to be spiritual? To be tapped into our higher power. To be connected to the oneness of all that is. To be gathered in ceremony. To be connecting with each other in a soul-centered way. In a loving, kind, compassionate way. Where we're seeing each other for who we are. We're seeing each other for our true colors. Our real gifts, our real authenticity, our true note. That's how we're seeing each other. This heightens imagination, heightens creativity, heightens channeling all these divine downloads and this kind of imagination and way of being from the higher realms down to earth. We are channeling this. We are really, really channeling all of those things in the astral realms, I guess you could say, in the otherworldly realms, which were very, very imaginative, really, really creative. But we are bringing this down to earth. Can we take our imaginations and blend the worlds by taking what we have in our imagination, our minds, and bring it down to present reality? How can we create a better world? What does it mean to create a better world? What does it mean? We can create a world based on the dreams we have to create a more loving world. Hence the song that I played at the beginning of this video. I did that intentionally to prove a point that we can together co-create with each other, with spirit, with the divine, a more loving world. And in that loving world, you cannot have freedom and you cannot have love without freedom and authenticity. So we want to create a world, Neptune and Aries, Pluto and Aquarius, where everyone is allowed to be themselves. Everyone is accepting of each other for who they are, and everyone is being who they truly are, and afraid to be who they truly are without judgment, and not judging others for being who they truly are, but being who we are without judging or shaming or limiting or inhibiting each other. Really, really holding each other back from living a life that is true for us, for expressing ourselves in a way that's true for us. During this time, I'm going to use the word dismantling again. We are dismantling and letting go of the old structures. The old structures that don't serve our growth now. The old, outdated ways of being. Old ways of being that don't serve us now. That's what we can really, really let go of. Is the old, outdated ways of being that holds us back from being who we are, from expressing who we want to express ourselves to be. We're the old, outdated ways of being that existed in the past, that don't serve our growth now. The old beliefs, the old structures that are no longer in alignment with the collective vision, with our collective consciousness, with who we are on a spiritual soul level at this stage in our journey, at this stage in our evolution. Those old, outdated ways of being, those old paradigms are shattering. They are breaking, and we are moving into new paradigms, new ways of being. And now, all of those outdated aspects of our lives will be illuminated for us to take a look at. Old beliefs that no longer resonate for us now. Old stories, old narratives that we tell ourselves. Dissolve. The old emotional narrative that we tell ourselves. That old intellectual narrative. Real narrative. Heartfelt narrative. Personal narrative that we tell ourselves in our own lives. Dissolve. These things dissolve. And we can start on a blank page with a new story. We can have a blank page. And on that blank page, imagine what we could fill it with. We can be creative. We can draw. We can paint. We can have all these colors. And what are you going to draw? The blank page is there. It's up to you. Like you have the canvas. It's up to you to paint the pictures. You get to create that world. You get to create that drawings in the way your life is the same way. Where you get to color in all these different designs. Maybe you want trees here. Maybe you want a city. Maybe you want a desert. With all the different colors and textures on this blank page. You're really, really filling it with what you uniquely want to fill it with. This is really about loving power for the people. Loving power. How can we use our power wisely? How can we not use a false sense of power, but a true sense of power? We are using our power for good. We are harnessing our power, our gifts, our energy, our enthusiasm, our own strength for the greater good of all. In a high vibration, high evolved kind of way, where we are loving power. We are showing loving power for the people. We're not succumbing to power over structures and power over paradigms. All these power over structures need to dissolve, need to be let go of for us to evolve. This brings about deeply spiritually profound change. Neptune is the planet of spirituality. And Pluto is the planet of change, profound transformation. So now we can change and transform in a way that serves us more spiritually. We are more spiritual. We're more loving, more connected to our higher powers, more connected to all those kind of things like that. We need to be kind and rooted in benevolence. If we're not thinking of the goodwill of others, if we're not generously, morally going about our lives with ethics in mind, with doing what is right and wrong in our own lives, then we need to be benevolent. We need to show benevolence. We need to show those qualities out into the world of true benevolence, of true thinking of the greater good of the all. And thinking of the highest good of the all is exactly what we're being invited to move towards. We need to look at how we distribute power, looking at who has more power than other people. We need to share this power. We need to have this power be equal. Everyone can access this power. Everyone has an equal slice of the pie. Well, we all have power. We'll have every single person contributes to one powerful entity, one powerful way of being, one powerful social structure. The social structure is Aquarius, Pluto and Aquarius. And so we're looking at dismantling the structures where people have more power than others, more control than other people. Who has more power? Who has more authority over our lives in that kind of a way? So, we're really looking at that. With making sure that no one is taking all the control, no one is having the, ruling the roost, and the buck stops with me, and I'm the one that's in control, I'm the one that is almighty, and I am in control of you, and you are subject to me. Like, what is that about? That I am more in control of you than you are of me. I am more in control of you than you are in control of you. What is that about? What is that about? No. Children talk with the parents to collectively and collaboratively make the decisions where they can feel like their voice is heard and respected and acknowledged. The power is shared. The power is equal. The power is more highly distributed in our lives. It's making sure that no one doesn't have more power than others. That everyone is equal in terms of our power, in terms of the power that we have, the power that we yield, the power that we direct in our lives. And then what systems and structures that we have going on in our lives lack compassion for humanity? What systems and structures are not compassionate, are not kind, are not benevolent, are not loving? That's what we're taking a look at. Now, where are we falling prey to spiritual narcolepsy? Where are we falling prey to being asleep at the wheel and thinking that being stuck in the logic, being stuck in the ego, being stuck in the very, very sad world where we have to do it all on our own, where we don't have support, where we don't have help, where we don't have our angels and our guides and our higher power, where we don't have that guidance and that systematic support, where we are the creators and not the co-creators. We are the co-creators, and that is a fact. We co-create our lives with spirit. And when we forget that, we lose connection. We forget our connection with something greater than ourselves, with a power greater than ourselves. So where are we thinking and going about our lives like we are the only ones to do it? We're the only ones to go about it. Where do we need to break this down to change this? Where do we need to change this? Where does this have to be dismantled so that we can be more in alignment with the universe, with spirit, with oneness, and our higher power? We can be in alignment with our higher power and really, really live in a co-creative sense. It's what we're really being asked at this time. This is about the desire to create a better world. This is really what this is about. Where we have an inner knowing of where our society is heading as a collective. Where we just know this is the direction that society is down. Where we can intuit. This is the direction that society will go. This is where we're going to be heading. This is what's going to happen. So there's this desire to create something better for us. A better world, a better society, a better place for all of us. A more loving place where we're accepting each other as we uniquely are. Hidden truths about humanity come up at this time. Maybe some hidden truths. Maybe we're seeing it in the art, in the music, anything artistic, anything in that right-brain realm could come up around this time. Any hidden truths about, where humanity has gone wrong, where that hasn't worked out. Around this time, we could see new forms of spirituality coming up. All kinds of practices like meditation and yoga and breathwork and oracle cards and Reiki and all these kind of things like that. We'd see the boom and the revolutionization and the acceleration of these spiritual processes, of these new forms of spirituality. We could see this really, really come out for us at this time. We are in between worlds this time. We are not completely, in the new yet, in the new story, in the new structure. But we're also not stuck in the old way of being. We're not stuck in the old paradigm. We're not stuck in the old story, the old narrative. The old stories are dying away. And the new ones aren't official yet. We're still uncovering, we're still discovering, we're still debating the new stories. But we're not consciously seeing it. It's like we can see it, but there's mist covering it. We can't see it clearly. We're not seeing it clearly. Neptune brings the fog, brings the mist, brings the lack of clarity. So we are in a period where we are in between worlds. One foot in the past, one foot in the future. The downside of this is not being willing to look at the shadow. Bypassing the shadow. Not integrating the shadow of the power structures. The political arena, the governmental arena, all these authority figures. This is the downside. If we're so caught up in the shadow of this, we miss the shadow. It's just like that. We don't see what's going wrong in that kind of way. And all that kind of thing. We are the co-creators. We build new structures. We create our lives the way that we want to. We build the structures that we desire for ourselves. We may not be clear on the truth, on our own personal truth. We may not see the truth for what it is. We may not see what's going on for what it actually is. It's time to be discerning and determine what is true and what's not, and to see that truth. It's time to take back our power, our spiritual power, our spiritual autonomy, and guidance and direction over our own lives. Knowing we aren't powerless, knowing that we do have power, we have tremendous power. That we're not a victim to spirit, that we're not a victim to the universe, that we're not a victim to God and whatever plans it has going on, that we can co-create with that. There's certain things that are out of control, are out of our control, but we do have a lot of power and control. And can we exercise that power? Can we utilize that power really, really effectively? Can we determine what's truthful and what isn't? What's true and what's not? Can we discern between these things? What systems, what structures are true? What truths about ourselves are true? What things about ourselves are not true? What external things may be going on in our lives that aren't true? Determining what is truthful and what isn't truthful. And can we be grounded in that truth? We be grounded in all that we are doing in that sense of the of the word. The answers lie inside of you. The answers really, really lie internally in your intuition. They don't lie. Like, don't look for podcasts or videos or other people to give you the answers. To give you the answer, the remedy, the medicine, the fact, like, oh, I want the certainty. Oh, I want this from outside. I need the validation from outside. No, it comes from inside of yourself. You have the answers. You know the answers. You know the way. I think that is powerful, that you can know the way. So can you really, really be grounded in your own sense of truth about what you know, what's true for you in that kind of way? How can you discern what's true for you and what isn't? Not becoming subject to power over spiritual people and spiritual fields, where we are having our own sense of power. They are guiding us the best. A spiritual guru, a spiritual teacher, gets us more in tune with following our inner teacher, our inner guidance, the one who directs our lives on that internal level. That's who it really, really gets ourselves in touch with. We can discern what's true and what isn't. Are we just going along with what others tell us? Certain spiritual truths that others tell us? Or are we having the autonomy? Are we taking back the power to know our truth, get in touch with our truth, and live in alignment with that truth? That we are very, very aware of our own sense of truth, that we know it, that we feel it, that we believe it, that we trust our truth. I think that self-trust is a really, really key thing with this transit. Now, can we look at our connection to our higher power? Is it the close connection? Is it a deep, loving spiritual connection? Or are we disconnected? Are we disconnected and just living on autopilot and just living, Eeyore robots? And again, spiritual narcolepsy. It goes back to spiritual narcolepsy. So where are we falling prey to spiritual narcolepsy this time? Where do we need to connect to God or Fred or whatever? We could find a lot of time that there's a growth of spiritual practices, that more people could be really, really getting into spiritual practices and really practicing those things, really making them happen for themselves. We could see the dismantling of powerful religious structures. We could see this is a really, really prominent thing going on at this time. More powerful religious structures and standards are being broken down. We want to let go of the illusions of social media, the allure of social media. Filters. Making you into something that you're not. Putting a filter over your face so that when I'm looking at you, I'm not seeing your true colors. I'm seeing a filtered version. I'm not seeing a fake version of who you are. But at best, on social media and in the world, we can create something more spiritually genuine. As it said from the reading, it used the word genuine. We can make art genuine. We can make spirituality genuine. What are we making authentic? The word that I want to use is authentic. What are we making authentic? Are we being authentic to ourselves, or are we covering ourselves up? Are we putting a mask on ourselves? And this could be on social media with others not seeing us for who we are, not being afraid to show our true colors and letting others see our true colors. Not putting on masks and filters, trying to cover up our real sense of self and trying to put on this fake sense of self just for others to admire and see and appreciate and do all of that. But for them to see who we really are? Can we allow others to see who they really are? Can we feel safe with others seeing who we truly are and understanding ourselves for who we are, for who we want to be in that way? We can change how we take care of the earth. Climate crisis could be a big issue at this time. We can really think about how we are caring for the earth, how we are caring for nature, how we are caring for Mother Nature, all the plants and animals and trees and all these kind of things going on with this. We can really care deeply about how we take care of the climate, of the atmosphere, of what we are engaging in on the 3D. Now, children will have greater access to certain spiritual technologies. The children will be very, very wise and spiritually evolved coming in here. They will be old souls, potentially. We could be more in spiritual community with one another. We're more in connection, in harmony, in gathering, in a tribe. We're finding our tribe, finding the people that really get us, that really understand us, that really have our back. Can we connect in deeper spiritual ways with one another? Can we connect with your own inner knowing, your own intuition, your own intuitive power, not what spiritual masters preach down to you? Now, we could see the obsessiveness and the controlling qualities of people coming up. At this time, there could be people who may be very, very, OCD-like over certain things, very, very obsessed over getting things right, over having things in systematic order and this and that. OCD can help you to organize and make things systematic. as long as you're organizing and making things neat and orderly with self-awareness, that you're not getting too obsessed with it. That this obsession with making things perfect, with going deep, going down into the dirt, and really, really investigating it, and really, really going in there and getting to the bottom of it, to change it, to transform it, to let it go, to destroy what needs to be destroyed. That's the theme around this time. Can we create a more compassionate world where everyone is allowed to be their authentic selves and go their own way, and doing their own thing? In us doing our own thing and being our authentic selves, we are serving humanity by inspiring others to do the same, by inspiring others to shine their light, go after what they want, be true to themselves, love themselves, accept themselves, do all of this. Can we inspire others to be who they really are? Where have people not been allowed to be themselves? This is a really, really big question with these two planets and these two air signs of Aries and Aquarius. Where have people not been allowed to be true to themselves, to be fully themselves, to be as they are, as they want to be? Where have people not been allowed to be this? Where have people not been allowed to express this quality out to the world? This is what we could look at this time. We could bring people closer to each other in a spiritual way. We could find people connecting more spiritually, more deeply. Pay attention to our dreams. There might be hidden messages in our dreams that come up from our unconscious that we need to make consciously aware of ourselves. And if we don't imagine the world that you want, if you don't imagine the world that you want and actively participate in creating that world, in envisioning the world and actually putting the tires on the road and putting the pedal to the metal and having the rubber hit the road and actually act on it and be a steward of it and be a participant of that reality. Actively go out and be the change you want to see, make it happen. Other people are going to take over. And they're going to have more power, and they're going to lead your life and direct your life and control you and possibly manipulate you and have the final say. And what they say and what they do is the order of the day. And so we really, really want to be mindful that we're not giving others more power, that we are keeping ourselves powerful and sovereign, where we have more power than others. We have the power, we have the control, and we have the final say in what we are doing. We champion for causes and structures at this time. We're looking at these structures and, they're changing, they're evolving, so we're supporting that. And in supporting these structures, we are helping to create a better world. We're thinking about industrialization, the fossil fuels, the chemicals that we put into the air, and thinking about how are we protecting our Earth? How are we caring for our planet? How are we caring for the Earth and the life on the planet and doing all this and really, really thinking of the greater good of the planet? We want to have the Earth become better, healthier, stronger. Now, authoritarianism and people posing themselves as having more power, as being superior to others, as being almighty and powerful, will melt away, and people will be more accepting of everyone's authentic selves. We show compassion for all of humanity, but the individuals that make it up. We show compassion for the individuals that are in humanity, that live in humanity, that are in humanity. That we, that we show compassion for this, that we have compassion, we have love for humanity, and each person being an individual contributing to the whole that's Aquarian energy. And can we teach the next generation? Can we condition them, positively condition them, into tapping into their intuition and their soul and their authentic selves, not their false self, which is their ego self, not the, controlling, proving, arrogant type self, which is ego, but their true sense of self? Can we inspire the next generation to be participants in creating a better world? That's our invitation during this time. Anyway, I thought that I would, end there with this aspect. It's been a very, very deep dive into Neptune sextile Pluto. I'll see you back tomorrow for your 12 sign forecast for Neptune sextile Pluto for all 12 signs of what you need to know based off of your sun, moon, and rising sign. Enjoy the 4th of July if you're in America. Hope that you're being careful with the fireworks because Mars is conjunct Uranus. Enjoy whatever celebration you have going on for the 4th of July today. I know that I will. And until my next episode, I'm sending you so much love and care. So, I'll see you in the 12 sign forecast. Bye for now.